Hi, Greenie. It's Shawnee. Thanks for your cameo. This is so much fun. So I'm just answering this because if I think too long about it, I'll get overwhelmed and I won't be able to name one. So I'm just going to name, because I have so many favorite actors and musicians and movies and TV shows. There's just too many to mention, and I'm going to leave somebody out, and I would hate to do that. So let's see. $5. Speaking of $5 Ho, there was a Facebook post from my old bass player. Someone recorded a show we played in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it was one of those. Too much cursing, but that aside, it was one of those. That's how I started my morning, watching that show. It was one of those nights. It was those guys were incredible. Incredible. They were on fire. So yeah, I was reminded of $5 Ho this morning. And I've got to play with a lot of amazing musicians. I don't know how that happened. Actors that inspired you. Well, John Candy inspired me. And I did a play with Richard Dreyfuss, and he was a big influence. He had kind of took a shine to me, and I was the understudy for the playwright's daughter, and then they extended the play, and I got to go on for the extension, which was pretty exciting. And Jeff Goldblum was a teacher of mine, and he's super fun to work with, because acting is like a game of tennis. So the better your opponent, the better you play. And I've got to play with a lot of great people. I couldn't even begin to name. I've been so lucky. And TV shows, well, that's Becker. I'm partial, but it was, the writing was that good. And Ted Danson. I mean, everybody in it. So anyways, you play guitar. I love musicians. I'm in awe. And rock on, Greenie. Rock on, brother. Hey, Greenie, happy birthday. Let's see, June 26th was your birthday. Wonder if you're Cancer. The $5 Ho video was live at the Pinstripe Lounge in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it's nuts. I just clicked on a link. My bass player put it up, but you might be able to find it on YouTube. Try not to be distracted by all the cursing. There's too much cursing. But my dad doesn't approve. All the cursing.
Oh, wow. Hey.
But it's rock and roll, Kind of goes with the territory. Let's see, the Blob. Yes, the Blob was actually, had a lot of practical effects, which was super cool to me. I resaw it because they came out. I did a commentary for the new Blu-ray release, and I hadn't seen it in decades, and it was super cool seeing all the practical effects. But a lot of times, yes, I was reacting to like a piece of gaffer tape on a stick or taped to the side of the camera, screaming for my life. So that was a lot of the time. It was that. So good thing I have a good imagination. But they used all kinds of super cool things to, and all kind of different things for different scenes, for the Blob. I thought it was a pretty good movie when I just resaw it.
Hey Steve, it's Patrick Laberteau here, played Bud on Jag, but I guess you already know that. I'm so glad you requested these questions. Your first question here about how did Bud lose a leg? I don't know. I don't know where the idea came from. I can tell you when I heard about it, obviously we were at war in Iraq, and I think they wanted to do something that was a big cliffhanger for the end of the season, which it ended up being. I was with my wife. We were at home, and we get a call from the executive producer, Don Belisario, and he says, Patrick, we're going to blow you up in Iraq, but you can't tell anyone. I'm like, okay. And my wife is listening on speaker, and she's saying, are your eyes open or are they closed? Are your eyes open or are they closed? Like, am I coming back the next year or not? And I said, hey, are my eyes open or closed? He goes, oh, yeah, your eyes are open. You're just losing a leg. But it's going to be great. You're going to lose a leg, and, we'll go through all of that. I appreciate the compliment. It had a lot to do with the writing. Once you have a show, I think we were in our 7th season. Once you have a show that's been on for a while and you got your basic plots down, it's not that you go through the motions, but that's why you go to see a show. There's going to be a court case, there's going to be an investigation, and then we're going to find out if the guy is guilty or innocent. And so when they gave me the storyline of losing my leg, it's kind of completely set aside from the rest of the storylines in the show, and it was a real great opportunity. They gave us a lot of great special insight. They allowed me to talk to people that had lost their legs and lost their limbs, and were working back with the physical therapy and all the different accoutrement that they had to use with all the different when your legs or arms or whatever are amputated. I thought it was a great storyline too. It's like I kind of sometimes distance myself from the story writing versus the acting. It's like, thank you for the compliment, but I'm not going to sit around and say, oh, it was great. But I thought it was a great storyline. I thought it was a great storyline to address all the facts that, the people that I met all the way through doing JAG when we were doing when we'd go to military bases and we'd run into real life, service members. Those are real people that are giving up their lives and supporting our nation and doing really good things. I just played one. I'm an actor. I just played one on TV. I'm nowhere near as good as those people are. And so for all the people that did, sacrifice limbs and their health to support, the rights of freedom and to try to make it better around the world, God bless them. I noticed that you watched it with your dad. I think that's great. I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people got into it because the older generation was into remembering, their time in the service. And I don't know, it says, were you in the service? Yeah, your late father was in the service, and that kind of makes sense, that he would have that connection. I don't know if he was in the Navy or not. I don't know if he was into the law, but it was a real great time to have that experience, to experience all of the different parts of the military. Mark Harmon, reflecting on doing summer school. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. You can believe it or not, but it's absolutely true. I got Mark Harmon the job on NCIS. I love to tell this story because it's like, I just love to tell the story. Again, Donald Belisario came in and we were at lunch and he sat down and we started eating lunch. I go, what are you doing, Don? He goes, oh, I'm writing this spinoff for JAG, for this NCIS. And I go, okay, who are you looking at? He goes, I'm looking at Bakula. I go, Bakula's good. Scott Bakula from Quantum Leap. But apparently he was busy. And he goes, so I don't know who I'm going to use now. And I go, well, what about Mark Harmon? Because of Summer School. Because, I'd worked with Mark Harmon on Summer School. I'd also worked with him on a TV movie called Prince of Bel-Air. Not Fresh Prince, but, Prince of Bel-Air. And he goes, Mark Harmon? I go, yeah, he's doing a guest thing on The West Wing right now. Go ahead and take a look at it. And he went and he looked at it. And then a little while later, I saw Don. I said, so how's it going? And he goes, oh, I found this great guy. I was watching West Wing, and I found this guy named Mark Harmon. So I think I'm going to use this guy named Mark Harmon, never realizing that we'd had the conversation. But, hey, he's Don Belisario. I've loved him from Battlestar Galactica to Quantum Leap to JAG. So thanks for the shout out. Hope you're doing well. Hope the COVID's treating you well. Obviously, I gave myself a haircut. That didn't turn out that great. And Steve, I just want to wish you the best, man. Happy 4th.
Hi, D fucking ho, Steve. Steve Greenie Greenfield. Steve Greenie Greenfield. I love the name. Greenie. Do I call you Steve or do I call you Greenie? Or Stevie Greenie? Is Greenie your nickname? And is it because you smoke a lot of weed? I'm asking for a friend. Hi, you. Can I just tell you, your message really made my week, my month. It was just so nice, and it's so lovely to read. It made me blush, really. I just need you to know that, okay? It's been a rough couple of weeks, as it has for everybody, but I just want you to know that it will stay with me for a very long time, and I thank you for taking the time to write all those lovely things. So I already love you, Steve Greenie Greenfield. I'm gonna just call you Steve, I feel like, but I want to call you Steve Greenie. Like if like we met in life, I would be like Steve Greenie. There'd be no Greenfield. That's too formal. Steve Greenie. Pink fuck. I now deem you, by the powers of Kelly fucking Maxwell, that you are an honorary ghost beater. Okay? So you get to buy the first round of readers. First round of readers are on you, because that's what I said. Steve Greenie, I adore you. Thank you for what you said. And welcome to the team, Ghost Beater. Ghost Beaters! Boom. Mwah. Bye, Steve Greenie Greenfield.
What's up, Greenie? That's my mom making my the frosting for my birthday cake for tomorrow. That's about the most exciting thing that can happen to a person, is to have this woman make your birthday cake. So that's pretty exciting. I can't believe you brought up Easy Prey and Crime of Innocence. I was young enough that she had to be on the set with me for those movies. And let's see, Gerald McCraney was super great to work with. The problem with that movie is we had to loop pretty much every scene in the car, which was pretty much every scene. That was tough. But I loved working with Gerald McCraney. He's such a gentleman. Andy Griffith, a little strange, not gonna lie. But that was my first starring role, so that was pretty exciting. Good morning. As you can see, I slept in my t-shirt. I was so tired after stripping my mother's gazebo all day yesterday that I just passed out in my clothes and woke up in my clothes to my mom and kids did a birthday scene for me out here. It's hysterical. Anyways, thanks for being a fan for so long. And go Cancers, caretakers, empathetic. That's right, Greenie. It's my birthday today. I got the glasses to prove it. Have fun in your barbecue. Karaoke's best sung, performed in a backyard barbecue. Have a ball. Thanks for the Cameo birthday message.
Hey, Steve, Daryl, Chris, and Rob. How are ya? John Ashton, Marvin Dorfler. Yeah, baby. How you doing? Greenie wanted me to say hi to all you pecker breaths, all right? And I'm glad you liked the movie, Midnight Run. It was a great movie, I thought, and had a great time doing it. Bob and Chuck and everybody, we had a great time shooting it. And, you know, I mean, every now and then, you know, you run into a whip dick every now and then. But, you know, most of the time we had a good time. Anyway, I'm glad you guys liked it. You like Beverly Hills Cop, huh? That's cool. Hey, wait a minute. Watch your cigarettes for that guy, Jack. All right. Anyway, Steve, Daryl, Chris, Rob, thanks a lot, man. Greenie, good job, man. And you pecker breaths, stay out of the goddamn pool, all right? Don't be a whip dick now. All right, man. Glad you liked the film. Hang in there. I know we're going through a lot of weird stuff right now, so hang in there.
I hope you're having a great day, great week, great month, great year. I know it's a little crazy out there right now, but you know, what are you gonna do? heard you like some Mallrats, like some Reboot. Mallrats is my favorite movie that I've done so far, out of any movie. Kevin's movies, other movies. It was so much fun when we shot Mallrats. It was my first studio movie. Clerks the first movie, but really Mallrats is the first studio movie, real movie, because all of a sudden now Clerks was, I woke up, went to my regular job, then we shot Clerks at night, and I woke up the next day in my hometown in my own bed, went to work again, then shot the movie. So it was different. All of a sudden, Mallrats now, I'm 19, 20-year-old kid staying in Minnesota in a hotel, waking up, going to the mall and getting to make believe with wardrobe, stunt guys, props. I had a grapple gun, and got to meet Stan Lee for the first time, who was it was an amazing thing for me. A huge comic book fan. Worked with Shannon Doherty. Just tons of stuff. It was like such a surreal experience. And the movie itself, to me, it just hits home. We used to go hang out at the mall and all that stuff. So, Mallrats, Reboot, Snoochie Boochies from J Muse. You are the ones who are the Snoogans. Hater tots.
Hey, Greenie, Caesar here from the movie Catholic Boys. I mean, heaven help us. But there you go, Catholic Boys. That's the way I like to. That's the way I like to remember the movie being called. And the funny thing is the Catholic Church got down on the studio for calling it Catholic Boys, and that's why they ended up calling it Heaven Help Us. I don't know. The title to me, whatever, of Heaven Help Us, Catholic Boys was how I remember it. And let me tell you something, Greenie. Shooting this film was incredible because we got to shoot on the streets of New York. I mean, everywhere in New York and in Brooklyn. I mean, it was just such a fun time, shooting with Kevin Dillon, who I'm still great friends with, and Patrick Dempsey, who I talked to quite a bit, Andrew McCarthy I talked to, Stephen Jeffries, haven't really heard from him that much, but I'm sure he's doing fine. Had a great time. Mary Stuart Masterson, Dana Barron, who is one of my dearest friends. Love her. I'm sure you remember her from Vacation. She was the first daughter in Vacation. Okay. Wait, something's coming to me. One sec, Greenie. Caesar doesn't dance. Or, to whom, brother? To whom, brother? To whom, brother? Oh, God. What was it? I'm trying to think of another one for you. Caesar sitting on the toilet. Oh, no. You know what? I take a certain pride in the fact that I never let my intercourse with the faculty degenerate into any physical violence. I think that's the line. Anyway, have a great day. Stay safe, Greenie, and we'll meet someday soon.
Hi. So, let's see. Desperate Hours. What was funny is that Mickey Rourke, at the time, would lock himself in the trailer because he was on the phone with his girlfriend at the time, who I ended up doing a TV series with, Becker, later on, Terry Farrell. But I couldn't have guessed, that was like more than 10 years later that would happen. So it was kind of funny. And Lucky Chances, I don't really have great memories of that. It's kind of soap opera-y. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Not great memories. The Stand. Diane Lane had that part. She and Rob Lowe were friends, and she was supposed to play Julie Lowry, and then she got pregnant. And by the time they filmed the stuff in Vegas, 6 months later, she would be showing. So I looked into that one. Super fun. A lot of that stuff was improvised. I just had so much fun. Hiya, Greenie. So I'm still at my mom's, and I finished the gazebo. And now I'm ready to take a really long nap. Thanks for watching for getting the Blu-ray and watching the commentary. I was pretty nervous about doing that because I hear I did a Saw 3 one commentary, but I can't remember. I thought the Blob was like the first one that I had done, and I was so worried about making a fool of myself, really. And I made the decision. I hadn't seen the movie since when it came out, and I made the decision to not rewatch it until I was watching it during the Blu-ray, and I was pretty I'm glad I did, because it was fun, you know, to watch it again. And I was surprised, man. I thought it was like a really good movie, and the cast was, myself aside, the cast was like unreal, amazing. And the practical effects, and I thought the writing was really good. You know, like the parents weren't stupid, and I like the romance, you know, between the two kind of equal male and female leads, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, I did watch the Steve McQueen version, and I thought it was kind of cool to take his part and kind of divide it into a male and a female, and I like their relationship. And I did not see Son of the Blob in 1972, and love Baltimore, because I love the people from Baltimore. I'm just a chatty Cathy. I'm tired. That's what happens.
This is Balki Bartakmus Sheepherder, and you are watching the variety show with Steve and Chris. Well, of course you are. Don't be ridiculous.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and you know, I just wanted to tell you that Steve L. Greenie Greenfield and it's Steve and Chris, and they're both equally untalented. They have, it's like sometimes you think one's more untalented than the other. No, they're running neck and neck with their lack of talent. Now, they do a public skit show called The Variety Show. And what's a nice way of saying this? Oh, yeah, it sucks to high heaven. It sucks to high heaven. But it's a skit show that they say is a poor man's SNL. It's not a poor man's SNL. It's a starving man's SNL. It's SNL that starved to death and was left to rot. That's what The Variety Show is. It's beyond starving. It's a decomposing corpse. And did I mention that Steve and Chris have absolutely no discernible talent, and that The Variety Show sucks? 'Cause it does. It really does. And if you watch it, you'll see for yourself.
Hey, what up, Greenie? Stooge to the news, Baltimore. I am the commander of the Clit. Remember this face. When you see this face, I'll be like, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Jamie, you saying, what up, Greenie? It's Steve, if you will. I hope you're having a great day, a great month, bro. The key to memorizing the Dogma script was really just fear and just reading it from beginning to end over and over again. Then memorizing my lines, focusing just on the J lines. Then when I had them memorized, and you gotta memorize the other characters, right, for the cues, so you know when you're supposed to talk. So I memorized mine and then their cues, and then I had those down so much that I just kept going over it over and over, and it literally was just me rereading the script for 2 months, a month and a half maybe, over and over every day. And that's it really, and just the fear of disappointing Alan Rickman. I didn't want to do that, so do it, dog. I'll fuck anything that moves. Fuck. motherfuck, motherfuck, noise. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, noise. Smoking weed, doing coke, drinking beers. All right, man. I hope you have a good one, Steve, or should I say, Greenie. Have a happy day, month, year, and many more years to come from J Muse saying Snoogans.
Steve, hello. This is Malcolm McDowell. How are you doing? Listen, I hear you're a fan of Clockwork Orange, which is great, thank you, and Star Trek Generations, and Time After Time, a film of mine which I feel was very undervalued at the time, and probably still is. But there you are, that's life, isn't it? Now, do I have fond memories of these films? Well, many, but they've only given me a certain amount of time on these things. But I'll tell you that Time After Time means a lot to me. Well, A, because I think it's a good film, but B, because I met my then wife, Mary Steenburgen, on that film, and we had 2 beautiful children. Unfortunately, we're not together still, but that's a whole other story. But I still have her friendship and the 2 beautiful children, Charlie and Lily. So there you are. Anyway, you want me to do a little promo for your comedy series. So this is Malcolm McDowell. You're watching the variety show with my little droog, Steve and Chris. So, viddy well, little brothers. I hope that'll do you. Bye.
Hey, come close. Come closer. No, closer. Come closer. Chris, Rob, Stevie, come here. Stop bullshitting around. All right, you guys. I've been hiding out for a while. Maybe 30 years, but I'm ready to come back out again, all right? I never got burnt up in that film. I'm ready. I don't like what I see what's happening, okay? I don't like it at all. I don't like at all what I see what's happening, all right? You understand what I'm talking about? So now I'm going to pull you into my organization, all right? Because loyalty is more important to me than money. And Greenie told me you want to be part of my group, my gang. So if you really want to be part of my gang, the loyalty oath you have to take with me. I promise to hate hypocrisy. Because loyalty is more important to me than money. I'm not a sellout. You understand, brothers? If you do that with me, send it back to me from Greenie. I want to see your oath. All right? We work together. Carnal. Anyway, guys, be good, all right? Be safe out there. I'm glad you like License to Kill. But believe me, Sanchez gang, loyalty is more important to me than money. All this bullshit I see, all right? And remember, you're only Speaker of the House for life. I know things, okay?
Hey there, this is Malcolm Danar coming at you from Hollywood, California, hence the sunglasses. Hey, you remember me from Christine, I was Moochie, or maybe Heaven Help Us, where I played Caesar, or maybe Mendel Craven from Godzilla. Listen, you're watching The Variety Show with Steve and Chris. They're my special friends. Special? What does that mean? They're my friends.
Hey, this is Marvin Dorfler from Midnight Run. You're watching a variety show with those pecker breaths, Steve and Chris. Couple of whip dicks, if you ask me. Well, enjoy.
Hi, Greenie. It's Shawnee. I'm having to cameo you from the road because we're on our way home. Stop it, Jackson. Anyways, let me tell you how to memorize dialogue. You just write it all out in a like paragraph form. Don't worry about punctuation or, you just write it out, all your dialogue in one paragraph. No punctuation. And then you just read it through like you're just reading the newspaper out loud. And then your muscles of your mouth just start to memorize it. And so you just say it out loud. Sometimes, like if I have an audition or a day's work, I'll write it all out. I do it in threes, so I'll write it 3 times, and then I say it 3 times, and then I try and do it by memory 3 times, and then I take a break, and then try it again. So that's a great way to memorize dialogue. I learned it in my where I trained at Playhouse West in Los Angeles with Bob Carnegie and Jeff Goldblum. Greatest place, one of the greatest places for an actor to train in my humble opinion, the best, but I don't know them all. So anyways, so yeah, that's how you do it.
This is John Kreese. And this is John Kreese. I just spoke to your dad, Steve, and he says you're a big Karate Kid fan and a big Cobra Kai fan. Well, I like that. I really like that. I just want you to keep watching and go out to the dojo and roll in the dojo. Make your own Cobra Kai dojo in your head. Because mercy is for the weak, here and on the streets. Someone confronts you, he is your enemy. And an enemy deserves no mercy. But I like that you're getting into karate. It's very important. And remember, stay with the show, stay with the movies, and sweep the leg.
Hello, how are you, Steve? It's good to talk to you via this video link. Listen, it's interesting what you say about which was the best ending. I honestly didn't like any of them. If you're going to kill an icon like Kirk, you should have given him a spectacular send-off, which they didn't do. I was rather disappointed for Bill about that, because I enjoyed working with him enormously. He can really laugh at himself, as can Patrick, of course. And I knew Patrick in 1965. We were at the Royal Shakespeare Company together all those years ago. And so it was nice to work with old friends. I don't know whether his death was supposed to be a secret. Maybe it was at the time. But the one great line I remember of Sauron was, "Time is the fire in which we burn, Captain." So I'll leave you with that thought. Take care, be well, stay safe, and wear one of these, okay? All right, bye-bye.
Howdy, Greenie, Leah Thompson here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that. And Casual Sex, we had to reshoot half the movie because Andrew Dice Clay was a jerk in the first version, and then they had me marry him in the second version. So it was a complete about face. So that's interesting. And you wanted some lines from old Lorraine? You were the one who wanted me to have these things, and if you want them back, you can have them. How's that? Or, oh my God, it's Calvin Klein. What a dream. Anyway, stay safe. Lots of love, and I hope that you have a great one, Greenie. Keep green and keep healthy. Lots of love.
Dee Dee Khan here. Old Frenchie from the movie Grease. That was one of the highlights of my life, for sure. Oh, you know, in fact, I'll show you. That's what I'm wearing here. This is a heart that John Travolta gave me at the wrap party. That's the party when we finished filming. It says JT and DC, Grease, the movie. That's very special to me. Gives me good luck. Hope it gives you good luck too. John was wonderful to work with. He was not only gorgeous, but such a fantastic person and dancer. And he and Olivia really hit it off. Though they both, she had a boyfriend and he had a girlfriend. So, but when we were together, we had the license to be teenagers again, because most of us were a little bit older than the teenagers we were playing. But Olivia and I are still very good friends, and our hearts go out to John losing his wife. It was so sad to know that, but we've all been in touch with him, and he and the family are doing very well. So I'm sure you'll be happy to know that. So stay well, stay safe, and a wop bop a loop mop, a wop bam boom.
Well, Greenie, you tell your 13-year-old daughter, Lila, that this is my latest Saw film. There are the implements. Stepped on a nail yesterday. It was a thin, clean finishing nail. I believe it's somewhere around right there. I was down here barefoot. Lila, don't do that. Don't ever demolition in your bare feet. I have shoes on today. Let me tell you, this thing was like, whoever built this bar down here, if they built this house, like the Wizard of Oz hurricane could come down here and this house wouldn't move. I don't know how to turn this back around on me. Well, I have no idea what I look like if I'm even on camera right now. This was a mission. Now I gotta figure out how to burn it all. Burn it all! Or tip I think the nail pit was easier than this. Scream Queens was a lot of fun. I got to work with James Gunn, who just is killing it ever since then. And but I had a baby, so you know, we're killing it in different directions. Anyways, James is awesome. That show was super fun. I'm glad Tanidra won too. She was a badass. I know a lot of female badasses. And I'm sure your daughter's one of them. So, what can I tell you about demolitioning? Always wear shoes. Never leave nails. Either just hammer them down or lay the board up against a wall. Never just leave it on the floor with the nail sticking straight up while you're doing other things barefoot, thinking, I'll just get to that in a second. Don't ever do that. I didn't even curse when I did it. All I said was, lesson learned, lesson learned, lesson learned, lesson learned, lesson learned. About 20 minutes I said that while I breathed and tried not to pass out. Anyways, this was my first kind of demolition like this. I didn't expect, there's probably like 100 nails, 100 screws, plus glue. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I'm not kidding. I'm just going to sawzall it into pieces to burn. I'm even going to try and go through the other 2,000 nails everywhere. The good news is the house is probably built super solid. All right, I'm going to sign off, go have a glass of water, and see what's next. Au revoir. Thanks for the cameo. Hey, Greenie. Thanks for the video. Oh, your mama. I hope my boys always love me like you love your mama. I'm sorry that she's not with you now. She's in a better place. This place is tough, you know? That was I love your wall. Yeah, I'll have to check that movie out sometime. Let's see. You're gonna torment me and ask me to pick between Pacino or De Niro? How dare you? How dare you? I choose Brando. That's my answer. Yeah, I like to fix up my house. I think all the time though, as I'm doing this, sanding, woodwork and painting, and it's hard work. And every time I do it, I think I have such a great respect for people who do that for a living and have to do it every day. I can take time off when I'm tired and it's too much, and then come back to it, and that probably makes a big difference. So it gives me a lot of appreciation for tough work, man. It is physical, especially that belt sander. Bart the belt sander. Anyways, thanks very much for your video. It was very sweet. Thanks for being a fan, Greenie. All right, sending you all the good stuff. Okay. Au revoir.
Well, hello, Mr. Greenfield, sir. I hope this message finds you well and happy. Ted Neely here from Jesus Christ Superstar, and I really want to thank you for sending me this message so that we could have some sort of a conversation, long distance, obviously. And I'm amazed by what you had to say, that you were born the year the film came out. Well, that was planned as a celebration for your birthday. And you also said it was the greatest film of a musical ever made. I can't love you enough for that. Mr. Jewison as well. Everybody involved. We'll just have to put you on our critics list next time, okay? And you said you were scared by the flogging scene when you were a kid. Well, me too. Welcome to the world of flogging. It was set up and planned so that the whip would never hit me. The magic of filmmaking, all that acting thing, Mr. Jewison wanted to get a shot from the back from the point of view of the soldiers who were whipping me so the people could see the reaction of the audience there, the people, all the mob that was there yelling to be whipped, but they were not appreciating or not enjoying the process. So he stopped and said, Ted, it's not hitting you, and we can see it's so obvious the whip isn't hitting you. Would you allow us to hit you a few times? So I agreed to whatever he needed to do. After all, and we know that Jesus was whipped, and we know that if I'm there pretending to be Jesus, I've got to be whipped too. So I agreed. They did it, and yes, it hit, and it hurt, yes. So, but I knew they weren't going to kill me because the film wasn't finished, so they needed me for some more scenes. So I felt it'd be okay. Anyway, we made it through, and I thank you so much for your acknowledgement of that. I'm glad that it made fear happen because that's what the purpose of the scene was. So, and I got to tell you, I thank you so much for your kind words about Oh Holy Night. People have been asking me to do Christmas songs forever, and I didn't want to be compared to all the other singers in the past who've all done Christmas songs. But I finally felt I should do something, so Oh Holy Night is my favorite Christmas song of all time, so I decided to do a rock opera version of that. And I do appreciate the fact that you enjoyed listening to it. So, Baltimore, wonderful. When we did our 20th anniversary, we started out in Baltimore, Carl Anderson and I. It's a great place, great place. And we'll be back up there. Go to my website, tednews.com. We do screenings and whatever that we can do to perform there. And the information will be on my website, when, where, what theater, all that. So you got to come see us, okay, man? Again, I say thank you so very much for this. And I wish we were sitting face to face so we could really get into talking about this thing. So as you said to me, stay healthy, stay happy, practice social distancing, and wear that mask. I wish you peace, love, and light, and I look forward to seeing you the next time we're anywhere near Baltimore. Take good care. Bye-bye for now.
Steve, how's it going, man? Long time no see. I mean, it's been since autofocus, right? And we were all really drunk back then. No, we weren't. Yes, we were. No. Yes, we, no, we weren't. Yes, we were. It was the bad old days. It's Baltimore. Come on, it's Balmer, man. Hey, yo, we're hanging out in, Fells Point there, going, to the waterfront. Just on the show. We didn't go, we went down there. No, we hang out at Cooper's, which is still there. I was just there. Steve, how's it going, man? Yeah, those were good times. Those were really gosh darn good times. It's funny. So I was just there. I was just there right before the whole world shut down, and because I love Baltimore, and it's, well, you know, you live there. In so many ways, it's changed, and in so many ways, it hasn't, which is great, which is what I love. But and then a year ago, I stayed. I didn't pay for it, obviously, because I can't afford that, man. Yeah, it's way too expensive. I stayed at that hotel, the Pendry, the Sagamore Pendry, a very fancy hotel. But I brought my wife and daughter there, which was amazing, because I walked them into this little banquet hall, and I go, that's where my desk was. This was the squad room. And then every morning we'd have breakfast downstairs where all the trailers were, which is crazy. So it was cool. It's cool that it's been preserved, and it's a beautiful hotel. I can't afford to stay there. But luckily, one of my Baltimore friends footed the bill. Footed as one did. But no, I love it, man. How are you doing? How's everything going? Yeah, you know, you hunkering down there during the COVID, you know, what are you doing, hon? You just chilling out there? Nah, man, I love it. I was just, like I said, I was just there in the beginning of March, right before we all had to flee, and I came back to Toronto. I know I should be wearing an O's cap, but I'm not wearing an O's cap because now I'm representing Toronto, wearing Jay's cap. It's fine. I don't really care about baseball. Fun stories. You know, there's a lot of fun stories. There was a lot of great stories from Homicide, and many of them I can actually still remember. Jeez, but many of them I've been sworn to ultimate secrecy. That's probably the only reason that Clark put me in the Shields, because I know all the secrets. I know where the bodies are buried. He's like, I'll put you in the thing, and then they kill you, which is great, right? You didn't see it coming. My old partner directs it. I'm in the first episode. I'm dead. I'll tell you a story. I'm trying to think. I've got so many fun ones from our time back there. Most of them involve just leaving work and drinking all night and getting into all sorts of mischief. But I'm thinking, oh, Steve, I'd have to kill you. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because you could. I'm sure you could. We're not gonna. Why did violence have to come into it? You know what? It's because we're talking about homicide. We're talking about homicide, life on the streets. I'll tell you a funny story. Was this the autofocus season? I'm trying to remember how all the seasons. I think it was. So it was the suicide episode on the boat, where Kellerman's really distraught, and we had this director from Germany, so Uli Edel. His name was Uli Edel. So one morning we show up on the set, and Uli's like, it's a scene with me and Clark, obviously, and he has us come into our car. It's like, I want to hear you run the scene for me. I want to hear how it's going to sound. And so Clark and I do the scene, and he's like, no, you're going to have to slow it down because it's not clear what you're saying. And I'm like, it's not clear what we're saying because you don't speak English. He didn't. He was from Germany, and he didn't. And so if I'd slowed it down for the German audience, then that would have made sense. But for the American audience, we were speaking at the right pace. I think that's the safest story I can tell you. All the other ones involve gunfights, knives, lots of, now some legal drugs, but mostly still illegal, and lots of booze. Steve, man, I miss you. I miss you. I mean, it's been years, but thanks for reaching out. I really appreciate it, and let's fight the good fight. Let's get this show on one of the streaming networks. It's absurd that we can't watch it. I'd like to show it to my child when she's in her 20s. Yeah, those were good times. Autofocus was a funny one too, wasn't it? It was because it was like half on videotape because Brody was shooting everything. That's the one, right? That's the one we're talking about. I know it. There was another one. It was a line where Giardello, Yafet, he had to say risotto, but he was like risotto. He couldn't. He would. It's not that funny though. There were funnier things. Maybe that. Were you there? Did you see his bodyguard? He had a bodyguard, a Nation of Islam bodyguard on set during that show, during most of that season, who would go into his trailer and check for bombs every morning. I'm gonna leave you with that tidbit. That's a good one, yo. Come on, yeah. You have your bodyguard go in there and check. It's not like you had your own dressing room. It's a different dressing room every day. All right, hon. Just keep it real, you know. I'll see you down there in Baltimore once the world goes back to normal. All right, have a natty bow, and I'll see you later.
Greenie. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to do something I've never done in a cameo, which is that I'm going to cough up Ground turkey. And some fresh onion. Really good, even when you cough it up. But anyway, wow. So you and your mom watched Perfect Strangers, and that is one of the things that I'm proudest of about that show, that everybody was able to watch it and get something out of it, from little kids who, in a sense, were our core audience, to grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads. And I'm really proud of that, because I grew up watching. Okay, here comes some more ground turkey. I ate it so fast. Good though. You know, I Love Lucy and Carol Burnett show, and that was the same thing. We all watched it as a family, and we still talk about it today, 50, 60 years later. But that's a special thing, because in a way you make the audience, at the height of Perfect Strangers, it was people in 30 countries, part of your family, because well, even the name Balky itself was something that my sister invented when we were kids, just as a silly word. In case I die, and this is my last cameo ever, I want to thank you for, no. So that's that. Now, how I got the job in True Romance, well, that's a kind of, you would think that by now I would take a sip of something, wouldn't you? That's an interesting story, because at the point that they were casting that movie, I had been what they call offer only for 5-6 years. And that means you don't have to audition for stuff. I'd like to be cremated, by the way. As with life, I think asphyxiating on a little tiny piece of ground turkey is kind of disproportionate to the meaning of life. But anyway, I had been offer only for a good 5-6 years, and all of a sudden they say, would you audition for this? And I thought, oh, I can't audition. I don't remember how to audition, and I don't want to be judged, blah, blah, blah. So I went in to see the director, and he did something I've never seen anybody do before. He said, you really don't want to audition, do you? And I said, no. And he said, but I need you to audition, because I have to show people, producers and studios, I have to show them something on video. So I really want you to, would you like to go away for a week and come back? I said, ooh, actually I would. So I came back. Now I'm going to do something I've never done in a video. I'm going to blow my nose. So this is kind of one of the most honest and cinema verite videos I've ever done. But it's because I wanted to get this done before I went out of town. So I come back and he says, I'd like to see the scene in the elevator. Yeah, for really real. I said, don't ask me to do that. And he said, no, that's what I want. So I did it. And I got the role. But what is meaningful about Tony Scott, who I love, is that he understood that in acting, as in everything else, you really do have to go from A to Z one way or another. If you fall in love, you can go from A to Z in 5 minutes, or it could take you 13 years. And if you're building a performance, you don't just do it like that. When we came to shoot, all right, so here's the alpha and omega of it. When we came to shoot the movie, we did the cocaine scene in one take. Why? Because to get all that dust off me, I think it was sifted flour or something, but to get all that off me and the car and the young lady playing the prostitute, every time I messed it up, would have taken, I don't know, an hour. And I just set my mind to it. And really all it took was for me not to laugh. That's what I kept saying to myself as a mantra in my head. Do not laugh. Stick with it. Stay with it. We did it in one take. Now, the elevator scene, I was guarded and shy. I didn't want to let loose. And Tony, God bless him, said, let's do one where you're just not very good. Get that out of the way. And we did one, and he said, that was actually not that bad. It was almost usable. Let's do another one where you're like kind of good, but not that brilliant. We did another one. He said, I could use that for an establishing shot. Now let's do one where you just reach for it, Bronson, reach for it. And out it came. And we did it 12 or 13 or 45 times. I can't remember. Now, can I do Serge addressing you? Of course I can. Don't be stupid. Greenie. What I want to talk to you about is your grooming, because I think I see the hair in your ear sticking out in the little cluster, and also from your nose sticking out toward your upper lip. This is so disgusting. It's not sexy. It looks like you want to hang the Christmas ornament on it. You know, just get a pair of clippers, or you could get a little flame and just singe it off. But please try to do some, you know, grooming, because you know, it looks like when you leave the cottage cheese in the refrigerator and it grows the fuzz.
Hey Michelle, it's Anthony Michael Hall here. I just wanted to reach out and send you my best. Your loving husband Steve booked this message for you, and I just wanted to say hello. So I hope you and Steve are doing great. I hope you guys have a good summer, and all the very best to you guys. Good health, great success, and all good things for you guys as a couple. Okay? God bless. Have a great summer.
What's up, Michelle? Didn't I meet you last year at Monster Mania? I think that was the one where me and Billy Zane were in the back room together. I think it was that one. I know you're a fan of Ghost Whisperer. Your husband got you this, by the way. Give him a hug. But do I have any fond memories? Yeah. I had a lot of fond memories on that, Michelle. I think a lot of them were documented. You know what I'm saying, Michelle? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Michelle. Your husband wanted me to give you a shout out from Scream, and I'm just going to say this, you know, Michelle, it's pretty simple. Be good to your husband. He got you a shout out. You know, because, Michelle, there's always some stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend. Happy pandemic.
Hey, Greenie from Baltimore. How are you? This is Kat from Final Destination, or Keegan, if you want to be boring, I guess. I loved your message. Thank you. That's so sweet. I love that you love that that franchise. It's funny that it has long legs, because my daughter was just talking. She was like, "You were in Final Destination? Oh my God!" Although she was really only impressed because Finn Wolfhard is in them too, somewhere along the lines. This is how long this franchise went on. Do I have any fond memories? I don't know. It was a wild shoot. It was crazy getting my, like, that. It's somewhere in my feed if you go look, where I got that weird stuff poured over my face, and I had to put little straws in my nose so that they could make the fake me that got the thing through their head, and then many hours in prosthetic work to get that thing glued on my forehead, and then like walking around and being at craft services forgetting that I had this bloody thing attached to my head. Stuff like that just, you know, the weird wonder that is working in the film industry, and working with David Ellis, whom I just love. He was so wonderful, and you know, his untimely and early passing was really, that was a shocker. But, you know, it was a funny, weird, strange movie to do. I had gotten a call. I was in LA, and they were like, "Will you do this movie?" And I was like, "Okay." And the next thing I knew, I was on a plane trying to catch up with the other Final Destination, so I knew what was going on, and it was weird being on a plane reading that script, let me tell you. So yeah, that's the deal of all my Final Destination stuff. So beware of logging trucks. Be safe on the road. Be safe out there. Stay well. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Daryl, Steven Spielberg cast me in my first movie, 3 O'Clock High, and I played Buddy Revell. But you know what, Daryl? You're the biggest pussy I've ever met in my life. You didn't even try. How does that feel? You made me mad, Daryl. Now we're gonna have to do something to work it out. You and me, we're gonna have a fight. At 3 o'clock, you try to run away, I'll track you down. You go to the teachers, it's only gonna get worse. You sneak home, I'll be under your bed. You and me, 3 o'clock.
Yo, Greenie, don't look at me like I'm some fucking fruitcake. Jesus Garcia, Nightmare on Elm Street, Rod Lane. Love you. I hope things are going good with you. Stay safe. Don't forget, lockdown can be tough. He had fingers like knives.
Michael Winslow here, Noisy Man, from Police Academy 1 through Infinity, and Spaceballs with Mel Brooks, and a bunch of other stuff too. Noisy Man. Special shout out for Greenie from Baltimore. Hey Greenie, how you doing? I wish I had more time to put some stories in this really, really short segment. I don't, but what I can give you is my video noises that I learned from the set. So these are for you. Hope you can follow along. Beatbox time, Greenie. Here we go. Game over. Game over.
Good afternoon. I hope you're catching me, whatever I'm saying. And thank you for your message. Now you're asking me if I can remember any of those roles for all those years ago, like The Clockwork Orange. My God. Octopussy. Well, it's a bit long to remember some of those things. I can just see if I can screw back the years, but I remember in The Clockwork Orange, I had this smaller role as a cop, and I saw the nasty boy Alex, and so I remember saying something, "Who's been a naughty boy then, Alex?" Or something like that. I know I had more, but I know I was tormenting him. And then when Beverly Hills Cop, I do remember saying something like, when Eddie Murphy has turned everything upside down and that fight in the club, and he mentions that, what a nice place I'm a member of, and I just said, I must make you a member. And then another one when I say to him something like, so I'm improvising a little bit, you have to be a bit patient with me, when I'm getting a little bit angry, but I'm keeping it very cool. And I say, why don't you crawl back under the stone from when you came? Or from whence you came? Something like that. Well, I hope that's been satisfactory. If that's the best I can do, because so many years ago, and I don't tend to retain the lines inside my head. But I could look them up if I played the DVD, and that's a whole hell of a long bloody chore. So thank you for your inquiry. Thanks for that, the information that you've given me, and I hope this is going to be okay. Best wishes from the actor, Steven Berkoff. Thank you.
Hello, Steve from Baltimore. Nice to hear from you. Love that you love the Gilligan's Island film that we made a few years back, many years back at this point. It was honestly so much fun. I grew up watching all the reruns of it. So to be able to audition in front of the Marianne, Dawn Wells, to play her was honestly what I remember from the whole thing the most, because it was incredibly intimidating, right? You're sitting there saying the words of someone who said them once before, and she was casting herself, right? So it was a lot of pressure, super exciting, and a lot of fun. Dawn Wells was incredibly warm and loving, and we had a fantastic time on the set. I also remember one of the highlights was when Entertainment Tonight came to the set to do interviews of the cast, and they interviewed me. I had interned at Entertainment Tonight while at Northwestern University, and so being able to be interviewed by E.T. was really exciting. And then the funnier thing is that then years later I became one of the hosts of Entertainment Tonight, so all these full circle moments again and again. It was a lot of fun. The scene I remember being the most interesting for Gilligan's Island was when we were on the raft that was floating out at sea. And I just love the ocean anyway. So any day that I can be paid to work and be on the ocean is a good day. Steve, I hope you're staying safe and well during this coronavirus pandemic. And thanks again for reaching out.
Greenie, how you doing? It's Sean. Big fan of Frequency, hey? That was a major moment in my life. That was my big break. I was actually in LA. I lived in Toronto at the time. I was in LA. I'd been flown down to test for another pilot. It was my first screen test ever. It was nerve-wracking. It wasn't going very well, and I knew I didn't get it. And I came out from the screen test, and there was a casting assistant there at the studios in LA who said, yeah, your agent wants you on the line. He called through. She wasn't very pleased about that. And he said, okay, you need to get on a plane because this audition that you had thrown on tape mid-pilot season, which is the season where you're auditioning for all the new pilots, I had just kind of thrown this feature of this serial killer bad guy on, not even thinking much about it. And they want to see you in New York tomorrow, so they're going to fly you out from California to New York, and you're going to meet with the director the next day. And so it was one of those kind of Hollywood stories. I flew out there. I put me up in a really nice hotel that night. Got picked up in the morning, brought to meet him, talked with him and the producers, did a read-through, which was not very good. Not a particularly strong audition. And at the end of it, he goes, well, do you want to come and do this movie? And I thought to myself, not to myself, I actually said this out loud. I said, you're going to hire me after that? Because it wasn't a very good audition. He said, I can see where it can go. And that was it, and we were off, and it was an incredible time. It was just like that moment in an actor's career, if and when they get some success. The moment that everyone talks about, you know, the first time I had to go and get facial prostheses made and whatnot, and John Caglioni did them, and he was an Oscar winner for doing all kinds of those. And he had a wall full of stars from the 40s all the way to the present of facial casts he had made, you know, all my heroes. That was amazing. You know, working with good actors like Dennis Quaid, who I ended up working with again on his series called Vegas. I did half a season of that later on. I just had an amazing time. So many things. Bad trip, man. I remember that line. I had to say after I knocked him out and the guys come in the bathroom. I don't know, I remember saying, you live at 444 42nd Street. I don't know, whatever the address was. You have a wife. And I start naming off the things, kind of letting him understand that I know where he lives and what his life is like, and I will destroy that life if he doesn't play along. I remember running through the streets of New York and all those chase scenes, and the background performers in New York were phenomenal. I mean, they all wanted upgrades too, which I didn't understand at the time. So they were all like, you can hit me, man. Go ahead and hit me. Go ahead and hit me as you run past me. Throw me out of the way. The reason they're doing that, of course, is because then they get what's called a stunt upgrade, which means they get more money for the day. I was very naive at that point. I didn't understand. I remember doing, you know, the underwater fight, which was in a tank inside the studio, and it was kind of nerve-wracking. It was about a 15-foot deep tank, and we had to have if it looked as if we were in trouble, we had to let go of each other and come to the surface. But unfortunately, our signals got mixed under the water, and I tried to let go at one point, and Dennis wouldn't let me go because he didn't understand that the signal I was putting out there. Anyway, everything worked out fine. Yeah, it was really a very interesting and exciting point in my life and in my career. And I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie. I could go on and on and on, but I won't, because this is already 4.5 minutes. Okay, much love to you. Take it easy. I hope this answered some of your questions. Bye.
So, Steve, you watched Risky Business, and you saw me, gosh, that was 1982. So 38 years ago. And it was my first movie, and you want to know my influences as an actor. All right, I better sit down for this. influences as an actor. Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, James Mason, Ray Bolger, Spencer Tracy, and Philippe Noiret come to mind. What that means, I couldn't tell you, but those are the people that I admired then and still admire now. Well, of course, studying acting as I did in the late 70s, we revered Robert De Niro, and I still do. But in the 70s, that was almost unattainable. It wasn't even like acting. What he was doing was so ineffably brilliant. I think in more recent years, you can see his wheels turning a little bit, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But in the 70s, it was like watching a comet. You know, you couldn't even imagine how that worked. Favorite movies and TV shows. I love Lucy, The Wizard of Oz, Captain's Courageous, American Graffiti, The Ten Commandments. That's a strange and eclectic group. But my thing has always been, I don't understand and I won't subscribe to genre snobism. So how can one of my favorite movies be The Ten Commandments when the acting is almost without exception kind of broad? I don't know. This is really good storytelling. I don't know why, but I could watch American Graffiti back to end and end to back. I don't know why, if there's something about it. I'm not really big on, the only time that I am really interested in analyzing anything about acting is when I'm trying to help somebody else. Then I will analyze what I see because it'll help them. But when I'm doing it myself, I don't want to analyze. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to watch myself. And I haven't watched myself in 35 years because I think actors that are aware of what they look like are not as good as they could be, even though some of them can be very good. Favorite movies and TV shows, influences as an actor, short list of favorite actors and actresses. Sometimes I also say individual performances reach a level of excellence that takes it beyond that actor or actress. And by the way, for what it's worth, people in my field say actor for meaning both actor and actress. Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, I don't even know what to say about that. It's so profoundly brilliant. And I've seen her in many things, and in some things I just have to just love her because she's just so clever. But in that's beyond acting. That's something else. Robert De Niro in Raging Bull, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's beyond acting. Spencer Tracy in Captain's Courageous. And then everybody in The Wizard of Oz, how is that even possible? How could somebody have directed those performances? Where did they come from? You can't tell somebody to be a blood-curdling witch and then just get that perform. I don't know where that came from. It's not like anything Margaret Hamilton ever did before or ever did again. It's just, I don't know where this greatness comes from. But all the stuff I admire the most seems to come literally from another galaxy far, far away.
Hey, good afternoon. Looking for Greenie. Steve. What's up, dude? How are you? Joey Belladonna here. Of course, thank you. Thank you very much for looking me up. I know you can reach out to just about anybody. I'm pretty happy about that. I hope you and your family are doing well, and you had some questions regarding I'm the Man, the big tune with me on the drums. Unfortunately, I did not play on the actual version, studio version, but I was privileged enough to have a chance to do it live. It's not relatively that hard to play. I wouldn't say it's my favorite drum song of all time. Yeah, I did fuck up. Excuse my language, but yeah. But some of it's just horsing around and having a good time. It's just added for more laughter, you know. You asked about some Among the Living and Euphoria. So long ago and so cool yet. The albums really kind of strive to me as a great accomplishment. The fans dig the songs. Vocally, Euphoria, it wasn't quite, the best vocally for me. The music was a little tougher. I think we rushed a little bit. I was a bit confused when that album was being put together musically. It turned out cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just the album itself, it really had some really quirky versions of chord structures to sing over. But yet, that's the coolness of it, I guess, But vocally, it was a bit tricky, Among the Living was a little bit easier. Obviously, we went from Spreading the Disease to Among the Living, and that, talk about, went from good hard metal, some good thrash right after that. Hard-nosed, we dug in hard. So it was definitely an uplifting musically and a big turnaround for us. I mean, AIR and Spreading the Disease was like the very beginning for me to really lift into that moment. Along with Gung Ho was a little fast and thrashy. Anyhow, but that's my take on, a good short version of those two records. Among the Living had some really, really popular tunes, so to speak, in our popularity, if you want to call catchy tunes that we had. So I'm happy with all those. The records all have their own moments, But I'm glad that they're your favorites. I appreciate that. Got to be proud, and I wish you and your family great health and future endeavors. I'm privileged and honored to have you as a fan. It means a lot, especially to me. I'm always grateful for fans that really enjoy what we do and how we approach things. And what I've done to achieve status to the band and live, and everything, I give it my all. And I'm really happy to have you as a fan. And I hope all your friends, and I want to say happy to your family too for letting you be a metal fan and letting you be a great listener to what we've accomplished. And hey, man, I wish you best of luck the rest of the year. And let's go for a new 2021. Until next time, Greenie, Steve, thank you. Right here. Peace.
Hey, Steve. Or shall I call you Greenie? Sounds like Greenie is what you go by, Greenie. What up, Greenie? Scott Ian here from the band Anthrax. And I'm reading through your question here that you sent me. While I'm reading through it, why don't you enjoy this nice, peaceful moment of Zen? So, you're a guitarist from Baltimore. You're a big fan of mine. Thank you very much for that. Grew up with Among and Euphoria and love SOD. Well, that is awesome. Thank you. Anthrax in my top 3 with Metallica and Ozzy. You've got very good taste, Greenie. who are your influences and what are your favorite songs you've written between both bands? That's tough. I mean, picking favorites is always so hard because, they're all my children. But I can go by, like with Anthrax, certainly songs that seemingly are never out of our set. Caught in a Mosh, I think, has been played every single show since Among came out. I don't think we've ever dropped that one from the set. So I think that's pretty telling. There's some songs off Worship Music, excuse me, and We've Come For You All, and Sound and White Noise. I mean, Safe Home is a real special one for me. Truly my first actual real love song. Earth on Hell, for some reason, pops out in my brain off of Worship Music. I mean, there's so many, dude. And SOD, well, the whole record's only about, 22 minutes, so I can get away with saying the whole first album is my favorite. Although, if I had to pick one, March of the SOD, I think that's the riff. That riff is that's the riff. March of the SOD. And then lastly, love the Stephen King-based songs. Well, thank you. So do I. So do I, man. King is my hero, my idol. And, was reading his books as a kid that enabled me to even write lyrics because he showed me that there are, as he says in the Dark Tower series, there are other worlds than these. And I was able to open my mind up and use my imagination. So, hey, thank you for this message. I hope I answered your questions. And I hope you and yours are all happy and healthy. So, cheers, Greenie.
Hi, Steve. Amanda Wiss here. Tina from A Nightmare on Elm Street. And thank you for reaching out. And thank you for being a fan of the film. And I appreciate that a lot. That's really cool. And to answer your question, yeah, that was me on the ceiling spinning around in that room. And it was really disorienting and challenging. And I think some of the screams in the film are me actually screaming. But I'm really happy with what Wes and I created together in that final scene. So it was definitely challenging, but worth it. And some of the lines from the movie, let's see, what can I remember? Steve, did you have a nightmare too? Did you dream about the same creep I did? They say things get really weird right before an earthquake or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, I hope you're well and happy and staying healthy and enjoying your quarantine. And I'm sending you lots of love. And thanks again for watching the movies. It means a lot. You take care.
Hi there, Steve. It's Heather Langenkamp. Thanks so much. And you asked me a lot of questions, so let me try to get to them. First of all, when I first met John Saxon, I was really actually quite afraid of him. I was more afraid of him, actually, than Freddy Krueger. He was really tough. He was kind of like a Teflon guy, very strong, never really smiled a lot. And so I didn't know whether he liked me or didn't like me. And so I had to break him down little bit by little bit. And the way I did that actually was we started talking about the old movies that he was in that I loved so much. And he got to act with people like Audrey Hepburn and Burt Lancaster and all of the movie stars of the golden age. And I would always ask him about what it was like to be on those sets with really lots of extras and riding horses and the great westerns of the late 50s. He was in a lot of those movies. So that's how we kind of became friends, talking about that kind of stuff. And then later on, as we worked together more, he was just a really solid, great guy. Very old-fashioned in lots of ways. He had a lot of big, I don't know, it's like a dad. He had a lot of great advice. He loved his family so much, and I just really came to admire him. He's a really, like I said, solid guy. So let's see. In terms of lines from the movie, everyone wants to hear me say this one particular line, so I'm going to give it to you too. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. Happy Halloween, Steve, and I hope that you have a really wonderful holiday season this October and that you find some kind of way in this pandemic to have a good time. All right, take care.
Hey there, Greenie. This is Judy Aronson. How are you? Thank you so much for reaching out to me. I so appreciate it. I love that you loved at least a couple of the films that I did. They are really special films, Friday the 13th and Weird Science. I'm so fortunate to have been a part of. Both of them are so genre defining and really special. So I agree with you. I do have some good stories to tell from them. Friday the 13th, I'm sure you've heard, this is a story everybody has heard, I think, but you get to hear it from my mouth, which is the night of my death scene when we shot that from sundown to sun up, freezing December night. It was just, it was so cold. And my body was shutting down. I mean, the crew were in parkas and hats and gloves, and I was in the water, freezing cold water. So I was working with Ted White, who was my Jason in our film, and he saw what was going on, and he just said, I won't work anymore unless Judy gets taken out and warmed up. So they did. They let me out and they warmed me up and then got me back in, finished filming. And to this day, I'm so grateful to Ted, and he and I are very close friends. And I have to say, I'm really lucky in one way because I know I'm the only person who actually has been saved by Jason, as well as killed by him. But, that's a wash because I was saved in real life, but died in film. It's a wash, right? But he's a really good friend of mine. Just talked to him about a month ago. He's doing well during this COVID time. He's hanging in there. He's going to live forever. And then Weird Science. Yeah, that was a good one. That was fun. What you see on screen is what it was like coming to the set, doing our work, and never knowing what we were going to get. Because when you work with people like Robert Downey, Robert Russler, Bill Paxton, it takes everything in us to get through the scenes without totally cracking up. Actually, you can see in the scene in the kitchen when Bill Paxton opens up the pantry and we see the grandparents in a comatose state there in the pantry, and the camera pans back to us in a line looking at that. And in that scene, if you look closer, you will see our faces. I think all of us were doing everything in our power not to laugh, and you can see it in the scene. It was a lot of fun. Suzanne Snyder is one of my best friends I talk to all the time. Actually, in both those films, I'm still close with everybody. So yeah, I so appreciate that you reached out to me to ask me about those films. I wish you all the best during these crazy, crazy times. Make sure you stay healthy, wear your mask, please. Do all that you can to hang in there. It'll get better soon, I hope. Yeah, thank you so much again, and have a great day. Bye.
Hey, Steve, it's Patrick. I played Bud on Jag, Patrick Laverteau. I'm so glad you sent me your video. It's a new thing they're doing on, what is this thing called? Cameo. It's a new thing they're doing. Damn, a Marine in Korea. So he had it pretty easy, huh? Look, I've met a lot of guys in over the years doing this show, and I got to tell you, all the people in the service, they come from such the right place to help the country, to help others. I'm very impressed. I was lucky to play somebody like Bud. I wish I was more like Bud than I am. He's got a really big heart. I think I'm pretty good at that, but it's like just he's willing to sacrifice so much, and like you said, he's gone through a lot. He lost a kid, he lost a leg, he lost this, he lost that, and I benefited from the show. I met my wife on the show. We had our child on the show. It was wonderful. It says here, any thoughts on Harmon Mack on NCIS? Of course I have thoughts. Here's my biggest thought. I don't know if you saw it, but there was an episode that I did of NCIS where I'm talking to, gosh, I don't watch the show. So bad. I'm talking to one of the new, Jennifer Esposito. And before she comes in, I'm talking to kind of like the Bud character on NCIS. God, Sean. I know their names. This is very embarrassing. Anyways, we were doing the scene, and I know that everyone wanted to know what was going on with Harmon Mack. So I pitched to the producers and writers that we have this little interchange where he goes, hey, whatever happened to Harmon Mack? And I go, oh, you're never going to believe it. And then we get interrupted, and I don't get to explain to him on camera what happened to them. And it was something that I thought would be really fun. Apparently people really liked it because, again, it brings up Harmon Mack. Like you say, the coin toss kind of left everything up in the air. And I just love the idea of keeping it possible. You know, I saw the NCIS one where it's kind of like they're cold and distant, and they never really were cold and distant in our show or in person, really. I thought they had a really good chemistry. And just because they're my friends, I mean, these are people that I got to work with for 10 years. It was a really great experience. I mean, it was just, I'm lost between being a real person and being a character. But basically, yeah, I think Harmon Mack should be together. I think that they could have made it so that they're together, but they're separate and they're fighting that, and that the enemy is not being to be able to be together. I don't know. I'm a big shipper. But I'm so glad you wanted to have a shout out and talk. I see you've got a Shining poster in the background, so you must be a movie fan if you know that movie. You don't have that just hanging around unless you really love film. I'm a big film lover. So again, man, have a great day. Give my best to your dad and tell him thanks. And I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hi, Steve. It's Julie Benz from As Good as It Gets, Rambo 4, and Saw 5. Now, you just finished watching all three of those movies. I mean, you must have had like a Julie Benz fan festival. Just kidding. Wow, I can't believe you watched all three recently. And you told me you're from Baltimore, and you wanted to know if I had any interesting, good stories making those movies, and what it was like working with Jack Nicholson and Stallone. So working with Jack Nicholson was amazing. I was very young, and I was very nervous, and in the scene that I was sitting in a chair similar to this, and I was on set waiting for Nicholson to come to set, and I was just sitting twirling in my chair, and Jim Brooks was like, oh my God, I love that. Do that in a scene. So I was like, okay, good, because I don't think I can sit still, because I'm a nervous wreck. And then he shows up, and I kept saying to myself, you know, he's just an actor like any other actor. He's not Jack Nicholson. He's just another actor, right? And so I'm doing this scene, and I'm twirling in my chair, and I'm nervous, but I'm covering it really well. And all of a sudden, Jim Brooks is like, Julia, why don't you stand up? And I went to stand up, and literally it was like the room started spinning. I thought I was going to pass out, and because I'm looking right at Jack Nicholson, and all I could say was, oh my God, you're Jack Nicholson. And he looked right at me, and there was like silence on set. And he looked right at me, and he said, yes, honey, I am. And I was like, okay, good. All right, good. Now that we got that out of the way, we can continue. And he was so wonderful. I mean, he was really like, it was huge for me to work with him. So, and it was the same with Stallone. Stallone was awesome. He directed Rambo 4 and starred in it as well. And, you know, we shot in Thailand. It was like 3 months of shooting. We had 6 to 7 cameras going at all times. And it was insane, but in a good way. And the thing I learned about Stallone is preparation. You have to be so prepared when you're shooting anything. But he raised the bar for me on my
preparation that I do when I approach any type of role now, and anytime I show up on set, I am overly prepared now. But it was really an incredible experience, and I feel so lucky I got to be in that movie. And thank you for saying you liked me with the darker hair on Saw 5. I like myself with darker hair too, but it's a lot harder to maintain because I am a blonde. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for requesting this cameo. Please stay safe, stay home. Don't touch your face, don't touch your friend's face, wear a mask, you know, sneeze into your elbow, use hand sanitizer, all that good stuff, and hopefully we'll all get back to doing what we love very soon. I am ready to get back on set. So anyway, take care. Mwah. Bye.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob from All Those Pictures, and I'm breaking my silence to tell you that you're watching The Variety Show with Steve and Chris. Now, I go back to being silent again. If you want something, talk to Jay. All right, Steve, there's the plug that you wanted. But I want to talk to you about the editing thing. That is genius. That's crazy that you did your own cuts of the movie and you took the scenes and reincorporated them. That's what the movie looked like at one point. And then I was like, this could go, this could go, this could go. So nice to hear that they all went back into pieces and stuff. If you want to showcase it any place, let me know, and we could put it up at that Kevin Smith Club in the Smithsonian screening room, just for people to see. There's no money in it, obviously, but like, you know, at least you get your work be seen. You could do an intro for it and stuff like that. Greenie from Baltimore, don't let that just sit on your laptop. You get that to us, we'll let the world see it, man. All right, talk to you later.
Hey, this is Stitch Jones, and you're watching The Variety Show with Steve and Chris. Thank you for checking it out. Okay, I'm also Mario Van Peebles, and I'm a filmmaker as well. And in fact, couple fun facts. It was Clint Eastwood that helped me get the job to direct New Jack City, because Clint, of course, has his connection with Warner Brothers. And Clint Eastwood and Sidney Poitier were the two folks that got me into the Academy, so I could be in the Academy of Motion Pictures and join and vote on the Oscars. So it was really, Clint Eastwood and Sidney Poitier together, man, it was really great. I learned so much with Clint. When I wanted to do Heartbreak Ridge, I had the character Stitch Jones, the Ayatollah of rock and roll. I had to play the guitar. My problem was I didn't play the guitar, so I had to learn, and therefore I needed a song to learn, but they didn't have the song. So I knew I needed time to prep, so I went ahead and wrote a song. I played it for Clint Eastwood, and he said, that's not bad, that's not half bad. And he let me go to Warner Brothers and record that song, Stitch Jones. I got to do my comedy stuff, everything, and Clint Eastwood let me be all I could be and do that role, and made such a difference in my career, and I'll always be grateful. Thank you for having me on. Bring me back again, let's do it. Let me see if I can turn this off. All right, I'm a techno peasant.
Hey, Steven, it's Patrick here. Sorry it took so long for me to get back to you. I really apologize. When you start these things, you're expecting it to come really fast, and that's bad on me. Listen, I loved your question. I love your video. Says here, you saw my video with a shiny poster. You're a big movie buff, are you? Oh my God, I am such a big movie buff. I had posters of Excalibur, the John Boorman film, Star Wars, Heaven Can Wait. Tons of different posters when I was a child. I had all the Star Wars films including Revenge of the Jedi, which I don't know where it is, and I'm really pounding myself over the head about it because, as you know, Revenge of the Jedi is like the little pre-poster they did before they released the movie, and it's supposedly worth a mint right now. Plus, it was really, really cool to look at. But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan, huge science fiction fan. Big time with Star Wars. I watched Star Trek, the TV show, when I was a kid. I don't have anything against Star Trek, but it was Star Wars that I was in, that I was really into. Because I'm in the industry, I've had a lot of really cool interactions which have happened that I'm totally thrilled about. One of them was that the guy that was, I was on TV show Little House on the Prairie, and the guy who was the art director was a guy who designed Star Trek set, a guy named Matt Jeffries. And they call those things the Jeffrey tubes that they would climb in and, work on the ship and everything. And so Matt Jeffries was this guy that we knew. And because he was on our show, when they did Star Trek The Motion Picture, they shot it at Paramount. We were shooting Little House at Paramount. And so he took us on the set and we got to see it before the movie came out. And oh my God, that was totally cool. I would say that for Bud, the stuff about sci-fi came about because me and a guy named R. Scott Gemmell, who is now the producer of NCIS LA, he was a writer on the show at the time. He was into science fiction, and we started talking about science fiction, and then he kind of added that to Bud. I didn't go to them and say, hey, make Bud a science fiction guy. But I was a huge fan of Magnum Pi, who Don Belisario produced Magnum Pi, and he produced Jag, and he also produced Quantum Leap. I had watched Quantum Leap, but I was a much bigger fan of Magnum Pi. But we did do an episode where we got to meet Donald P. Belisario at the Quantum Leap convention, which was kind of fun. Let's see. Favorite actors. I love Kevin Kline. There's a movie called Soap Dish, which he did, which is just one of my favorites, A Fish Called Wanda. I just think comedy is underrated, and he's been wonderful. TV shows. I just watched The Boys. I thought that was pretty good. And for bands, just really any hair band from the 1980s, Guns N' Roses, Warrant, Cinderella, Motley Crue. I love them all. Anyways, again, I'm sorry it took so long to get back to you. I'm glad that you reached out. If you have a shot, just tell me a little bit more about what you like. Okay, man, take care.
Hi, Steve. So you're a big fan of Son of the Blob, huh? Or Son o' Blob, as we like to call it. It's very interesting. I had just been hadn't talked about it or thought about it in years, and I had just been talking about it that week, a week ago. And then a friend of mine from Chicago called, and he knew the actor who played my boyfriend in, who gets eaten with me in the drain pipe in Glendale. And then you, so that's three's a charm. So I can share this with you, which is a really fun story. I mean, Larry Hagman, fabulous cast, just wonderful. I just worked on it for like 2 days, maybe, until I got eaten. And so you skip to a couple of years after, and I'm on the Johnny Carson show for the first time, The Tonight Show. And I tell the story about, he asked me what I've been doing. And I said, well, I did this little movie called, that was directed by Larry Hagman, called Son of Blob. He said, really? I said, yeah, I was eaten by the blob in a drain pipe in Glendale. And because of that, I got asked back over and over to do The Tonight Show. He loved that so much that I got eaten by the blob in a drain pipe in Glendale. And I believe my one of my 3 lines is, no, really, what's that behind you? And the cop says, oh no, I'm not falling for that old gag or whatever it is. And it's a very funny, I can see why it's a cult classic. I think I saw the scene that I did like 1 time, maybe. And I forget the guy. Hang on, let me ask. What was the guy's name who played my boyfriend?
It's Randy Stonehenge or something
Randy
like
Stoneman, I think, played my boyfriend who's playing the guitar. And he's the one who's friends with my friend Tom, who's an actor in Chicago, who had called me that last week and said that. So isn't that funny? Anyway, thank you for asking about that. It brings back pleasant memories because it was a lot of fun to do, as you can imagine. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and just take care of yourself. And we're going to have a fun, prosperous, happy-filled New Year coming up. Okay, Steve. Wait. Okay, Greenie. All right. The blob wasn't green. I think it was red. All right, over and out, Greenie. Bye-bye.
It's me, Don Adams, also known as Maxwell Smart and Inspector Gadget. Go, go,
gadget birthday cake. Greetings. It is I, the brain. Yes. Or Orson Welles. The French champagne has long been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne inspired by that same excellence, and it has the same high quality as rosebud frozen peas. Yes, full of country goodness and green penis. Wait, that's terrible. I said it again. I can't believe it. I'm leaving. What luck. I found a French fry in my beard. Yes, always. Listen, happy birthday, Belle. Hope you have a great birthday. Hope you enjoyed having Don Adams and Orson Welles, two guys who never hung out in real life. I wish you happy birthday. But although I did get to hang out with Don Adams, I did the second season of Inspector Gadget with him, and he was a great guy and taught me a lot about comedy and voiceovers and all of that.
It's Christmas time, and this is Bronson Pinchot, and I've got a little special guest over here who's dying to. I see you, I hear you. Oh my God, you know what? Ever since he took up residence here 36 years ago or whatever it is, it's like exhausting. Look, I didn't even get to shave today. So, yes, I'm getting to you. I'm doing. Oh, hold on a second. What are these? Get this off my face. I am not farsighted, only he is. And I live inside him. And my name, as you know, is Balki Bartachumus, sheepherder. And look, you would think he would cut my hair, but no. He leaves me like this. But that's okay. I love everybody, including Bronson, because he is my host. And I live inside his head. You love the dance of joy? Well, in that case, get ready. 2, 3, 4. Die, 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 die. Hey, 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 hey. And now I put you down because you got to go play the guitar.
How you are doing today? My name is Serge, and we are going to do the dating advice. The first thing that is important on the checklist is to make sure that if the person that you're dating is completely insane and cuckoo, that this person be just exquisitely good looking, because otherwise it's just not worth pushing up with. Now, the other thing is, if the person that you're dating is a cuckoo, then you must always meet at a location that is not your home, and always go through your personal belonging in case you're going to sleep, so that you not have any evidence of where you live, so that the crazy person can find you. Once you take these precautions, then you can have fun, because crazy people can be such good lovers, and they can be so amusing. Next, it is important that you have a scrunchie for the hair, because if you get distracted, you're not going to shampoo your hair as much as normal. In this case, it's best to put the scrunchie up there so the hair goes like Pebbles Flintstone. Other than that, you just use your intuition, and maybe have some baby wipes in case this person do not have the toilet paper or the bidet. So I think this covers everything. Maybe some chlorides for your pocket.
Good to talk to you again. You are still as cheeky as you were the first time. Just so you know, I have my bikini on underneath my sweats. You know, I always have my bikini on underneath my sweats. No, it's freezing cold here. I can't put a bikini on right now. Plus, you know, I overate a little bit at Christmas, so there'll be no bikini for a couple weeks. Because that's what you're supposed to do at Christmas. Anyway, how are you? This is your second cameo. It's good to see you. And I love that you love to treat yourself, and thank you for treating yourself with me. Does that sound right? Anyway, I really hope you had a great holiday. You know, I know holidays are a little different this year, But the world's getting better. We're going to get that vaccine. Everyone's going to get vaccinated. And then we're going to be able to go out and about in the world and celebrate. And I really hope there's like a big, giant global party that goes on when this virus gets kicked to the curb. I really hope like there's like a 2-week like global festival celebrating the fact that we no longer have to wear masks out in the world and that we can hug people and touch people and, you know, all that stuff. And travel. I miss traveling so much. Anyway, I hope this second cameo is just as good as the first. You know, it's never as good as the first time, though. I will say that. It's just never as good in life in general. But hopefully this was just as good. And yes, my bikini is on underneath my sweats. There you go. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Take care. Stay safe.
This is Tanya Roberts, and I hear you want to know a little bit about my experience with Christopher Walken and Roger Moore. Well, Roger Moore was so suave and so sophisticated and so friendly and always had a great dry wit. He was wonderful to work with. And he really welcomed me because I was the new Bond girl. And working with Christopher Walken, I think this was the first bad man he ever played in a movie. And he was so bad, he played that for the rest of his career, almost. He's mostly played bad guys. And he was yet, at the same time as he was playing an evil bad guy, he had a great sense of humor and was always pulling pranks on the set and was a lot of fun to work with. In terms of the Golden Gate Bridge, we shot it on a green screen, but we actually built the bridge the same size, the big ties that hold it and everything. We built it exactly the size, and we just had to stand on it, and which was high off the ground, so they had mattresses all around to catch us if we fell. And that was a little scary, but it was great. But I drove over the Golden Gate lots of times. I did drive over it. And in terms of the blimp, that was a real blimp we were working on. And it was a little scary because we were flying close to the ground. But it was a lot of fun and really came off looking like it should, like a real blimp. And in terms of the Chantier stables, it was a Chantier mansion, and the stables were so beautiful. I mean, they were like all oak, polished oak with brass bars, and the horses were gorgeous thoroughbreds. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful place to shoot. I enjoyed every minute of it. And shooting in San Francisco was great too. So my whole experience on A View to a Kill was fantastic. I'm really glad you wanted to know. And I hope you're doing great. Love, Tanya. Billy, my biggest fan. How you doing? Wait a minute. You're so tiny. How did you get so small? I know, I must have shot you with my 007 super shrinkage gun. That's what happened. Oh, you are so cute. I'd just like to put you into my Oops, I think I squished you. Oh well, take care and be safe wherever you are. Hi Emma, happy 24th from your best friend and your good friend, Callie. I just wanted to wish you the happiest of holidays for your birthday and let you know how much all of us out here feel the pressure you must be under and feel our gratitude for all the work you're doing in the hospitals for the people. And that's just once in a lifetime thing, and I think that's just great. And this is from Midge on That 70s Show, Tanya Roberts. Have a wonderful